This is going to be a recap of UFC 285. The main event was Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane. First things first, we want to take a look at the bonuses. Jon Jones got a bonus. Alexa Grasso got a bonus. And even though Jeff Neal didn't make weight, he also received a Fight of the Night bonus alongside Shavkat, and that was $50,000. So that's a good thing. You lose 30% of your purse, but at least you got $50,000. But let's take a look at some of the prelims first before we make our way down to the main event. Damon Blackshear and Farid Basharat. I watched that fight, and Farid just outworked him. And it seemed to me like this is the second fight in a row where Damon had a fight-ending submission locked in right as time ran out. It was the same thing with Yusuf. He had a standard rear naked choke that it looked like he could have been able to get it, and then the time ran out. And in this fight, he had Farid in a triangle, but it just seemed like Damon is just not ready for the UFC right now. And you just piling up a bunch of losses and taking these short notice fights and losing.
Especially in a weight class that you don't fight in. He fought his first fight in a different weight class. But the L's add up.
Then your second fight, you get Javid's brother, of all people. Then we had Jessica Penne versus Tabitha Ritchie.
This outcome was very unlikely. I thought Tabitha would win a decision, but she was able to go out there and dominate on the ground. I mean, it was kind of risky against Jessica because that's the only way she could win. But she went there and made it look easy.
Then we got Cameron Simon versus Mana Martinez. There was some fouls, some accidental kicks to the groin and stuff. But I think that's more so because Cameron is a southpaw and Mana is orthodox. So when he throw his leg kicks, it's right there, it's wide open. Versus if they were both right-handed, his leg kicks would go to the outside leg. But because they're standing opposite of each other, then it goes straight to that area. But
and also, like the first round, they took away a point from Cameron. This was an opportunity for Leo to actually win their round and be up by 2 points. But he didn't take advantage of that. And
he's a tough fighter who's always game, but he just not able to really find ways to win. And even in his other fights, he get dropped so many times.
I think that's what's hurting him because he's trying to win one way. If he actually can go out there and try to win a decision, he's trying to load up on these left hooks
and catch people. And
you're not going to land that against certain guys, especially like a guy like Cameron. But he did have certain moments to where he landed, and it looked like, man, maybe if he would have set it up, he probably could have did more damage.
Yeah, but Cameron just on another level. I mean, once he figured out, okay, let me stop throwing certain things, he just pretty much took it away, man. Then we got Ian Machado Gary versus Song Kanan.
I think Ian looked good this fight because sometimes you got to show you can overcome adversity.
Yes.
Nobody's perfect, man. And then Song, that's where he's good. He has a bunch of knockouts. He has power. So Ian showed that he can take these punches.
And then he finished Song.
Yeah, he came back and he finished Song. So I mean,
and Song looked awful outside of one punch. He looked awful outside of that one thing.
His corner told him just be patient. The knockout gonna come.
Who?
Song. He remember
his corner gave him some of the worst advice I've ever seen.
Pretty much don't do nothing until until your opponent run to the knockout. But this was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and then he hurt Ian. He couldn't even put Ian out. I don't know what he was trying to grab him, or whatever. But like, bro, he jump on his back or knock him out.
Speaking of knocking out, man, Julian started off looking really good, but that's the thing when you fight Marc-Andre Barriault, you know, the power bar. The reality is it don't really matter how you start off versus him, it's about how you end.
And Julian against RoboCop, he got kind of exposed of not being able to fight at his best going back because he has this thing he does when he's countering with his hooks, but he's missing.
But no, but if you remember in this fight when he went back there one time and he caught Marc-Andre Barriault with a perfect right hand,
but that's not.
But Mark ate it.
But I'm saying that's not Julian's strong suit. You know,
he started trying to wrestle when he was tired and hurt.
Yeah,
and then it was just like, man, you should have been implementing the wrestling. That way you can kind of wear on Mark some. But then we get down here, we got Vivian Araujo versus Amanda Ribas. What you think about that fight?
Amanda, she's showing her striking is getting better because she was known for her grappling and her jiu-jitsu. I don't care what nobody says. I never really saw her as a striker. And her last couple of fights, she's been out-striking her opponents. And her striking is much improved. Who was that, Marina? You remember Marina dropped her? And that's when Herb Dean stepped over them.
Oh, yeah.
Let the fight go on. But Amanda, she's showing that she's improving. And honestly, like the flyweight division, like, she might be in the top 5, like real soon.
They need some new blood, so that'll be good.
Speaking of
new blood, in old ways, man, Dricus kind of gave up that first round, and then, you know, Derek, man, it's so odd that for somebody who's so underrated, you can see why they underrated because of some of the things that happen in the fights. It's like, man, Derek is too smart for some of these decisions, because even when you watch him on Twitter or just watch some of the things he says when we just watching fights, like some of the commentary on fight cards he's not a part of, he's so aware of things that are happening. I think he'll be a great commentator and everything, but it's just like the decision making in the cage is so crazy. Like, he had Dricus hurt several times, then he was trying to knock him out, and then he would start missing, and then Dricus would piece him up. I'm like, man, if you hurt him, then just take him down and wear on him. And it was just so odd, man, because he knew what to do because he was doing it. But Dricus, man, is just, he's mowing through these guys right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Derek has shown that he don't have the basic fundamentals of boxing.
Yes.
If he literally, Derek would be undefeated if he just put together a 1-2.
If he had a jab.
And he had southpaw too, bro. Who gonna stop that? And then throw that 1-2.
The cardio seems to be an issue too, man.
I don't think it's a cardio thing. I think it's more of a mental thing. I hate to say it,
it's
man.
It's a cardio. He got tired.
He got tired. You gotta understand. The thing is with Derek Brunson, when things don't go his way, he can wrestle. He can wrestle Darren Till. He can wrestle some of these other guys he took down. Even Jared Cannonier. You fight against somebody who you don't really want to keep trying to take him down, because then they can take it back and then they can submit you. So I think the thing is with Derek, the people who can stuff his takedowns, is almost like mentally he's defeated before, man. And which is cardio too. It's really both, but I think it's more mental.
Yeah, man.
And he's talking about retiring and stuff, man.
Yeah,
so it's like, damn.
And it's so bad because it's like, I feel like he could still beat a lot of people. But then we got Cody Garbrandt and Trevin Jones. And I told you this, the reality was Cody needed to start showing some of his well-roundedness in his last couple of fights. And every fight don't have to be a stand-up war and somebody got to get knocked out, because he's been on the receiving end of those knockouts. Man, why are you not wrestling? Why are you not taking people's back? So they gave him Trevin Jones, a very beatable fighter with a lot of glaring weaknesses and holes in his game. He don't pull the trigger. He seemed to be a one step behind in a lot of his fights. He get tired a little fast. But Cody, in the third round, made this fight much closer than what it should have been. He ended up winning 29-28 in a fight that he was mostly dominating. But then he let Trevin get back in the fight. And it just goes to show you, man, that like if it was somebody else, he probably would have lost.
But that's the psychology of losing. Once you start taking them L's, it's almost like it becomes part of your DNA. So it was good that he was able to survive and actually win this fight, because I don't think that'll happen again.
And I hate to say it, but Joe Rogan and them even said during the fight, they said he looked so good in the fight, but the last round, the way he was able to let Trevin get back in it, and Trevin doubled his punches, his strikes landed in one round. From the first two rounds, he didn't do nothing, and then he doubled those strikes and won that round. And it just goes to show you that if he did start doing that in the second round, he probably could have did it for rounds 2 and 3. Cody low-key almost lost to Trevin Jones, man. Trevin Jones, who didn't do nothing. And so we'll make a video about Cody, man, like a specific video.
Yeah, we need y'all to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment.